Rukun Negara Club to be expanded to private schools. Investors funding important to drive nation closer to net zero carbon emission goal. Good evening and Salam Malaysia Madani. You're watching Malaysia Tonight with me, Nur Zamri. Negeri Sembilan Pakatan Harapan PH Chairman Datuk Seri Aminuddin Harun was sworn in as Menteri Besar of Negeri Sembilan for the second term today. Datuk Seri Aminuddin, 56, took the oath of office, loyalty and secrecy before the Yang di-Pertuan Besar of Negeri Sembilan, Tuanku Mukhriz Ibni Almarhum, Tuanku Munawir at Istana Besar Seri Menanti at 4:15 p.m. Tunku Ampuan Besar of Negeri Sembilan, Tuanku Aisyah Rohani Tengku Besar Mahmud and Tunku Besar Seri Menanti, Tunku Ali Ridauddin, Tuanku Mukhriz were also present. Datuk Seri Aminuddin successfully defended the Sikamat State seat with a majority of 2,662 votes during the 12th of August state polls. The PH and Barisan Nasional BN alliance succeeded in forming the state government after winning 31 seats, namely 17 seats for PH and 14 seats for BN, while Perikatan Nasional BN secured 5 seats. Today's ceremony was also attended by the State UMNO License Committee Chairman, Datuk Seri Jalaluddin Alias, and the state leadership from BN and PH. Earlier today, January Assemblyman Datuk Seri Muhammad Sanusi Matno was sworn in as Kedah Menteri Besar. He was sworn in as the state's Menteri Besar before the Sultan of Kedah Al-Aminul Karim Sultan Salahuddin Sultan Badlisha at Istana Anak Bukit in a ceremony held at about 10 a.m. He was reappointed to the post following Perikatan Nasional's big win in the state election 2 days ago, winning 33 out of the 36 seats in the State Legislative Assembly. Datuk Seri Muhammad Sanusi, who is also Kedah PAS Deputy Commissioner, retained the January seat with a majority of 16,050 votes. Meanwhile, when asked about the state government's relationship with the federal government, he said it would be a new beginning and that he was prepared to cooperate for the sake of the Kedah people. The Rukun Negara Club will be expanded to schools across the country, including private schools, to strengthen efforts to inculcate a spirit of unity among the younger generation. Education Minister Fadlina Siddiq said that the Rukun Negara Club plays an important role in introducing and applying the philosophy of the 5 principles contained in the Rukun Negara. She said that it is important that the club, in which there are currently over 6,000 schools nationwide, be expanded so that the ideology and principles of the Rukun Negara philosophy can be understood and appreciated by students.
Dalam segmen bicara guru sebentar tadi, bagaimana seorang guru menyampaikan hasrat dan impian dan tekad bagaimana perpaduan ini sepatut dilaksanakan di sekolah-sekolah. Jadi kita ambil secara serius perkara ini dan saya raikan juga pandangan-pandangan dan idea-idea sebentar tadi, termasuk pertama peluasan kelab Rukun Negara di semua sekolah.
Fadlina said this at the launch of the 2023 Rukun Negara Exploratory Program at the school level at the Seri Bintang Complex in the nation's capital today. The program aimed to increase the knowledge, understanding, appreciation and practice of Rukun Negara in schools and make it part of their attitudes and behaviour to strengthen their identity and patriotism for the country. In the meantime, Fadlina reminded educators that they play a role in fostering the spirit of unity among the people by educating the younger generation starting from school. The Works Ministry alongside the Public Works Department, JKR and Sarawak Ministry of Infrastructure and Port Development today embark on a two-day journey to inspect the nearly completed Pan Borneo Highway. Works Minister Dato Sri Alexander Nantalingi said inspection is done to ensure the highway is in good condition as part of the preparations for Yang di-Pertuan Agong Al Sultan Abdullah Rayatuddin Al Mustafa Billah Shah's visit to journey through the highway from Sabah to Sarawak in September.
Ini adalah usaha persiapan untuk memastikan laluan ini ada dengan keadaan terbaik kerana bulan depan di mana kita telah diberitahu ya tentu Yang di-Pertuan Agong akan datang untuk melawat dan menjelajah Pan Borneo bermula dari Sabah sehingga ke
He said this to reporters prior to embarking on the convoy at mile 6 of the highway today. Over the course of 2 days, Dato Sri Alexander said the inspection team will be travelling from Kuching to Miri, focusing on assessing the progress of road construction. As such, he emphasised on the importance of completing any remaining work swiftly and to ensure the highway sections are safe and comfortable to use if not completed. It is learned that the convoy is expected to arrive in Cebu this evening and will resume its journey heading towards Miri tomorrow. The service of the Canine Unit, which will be used by the Federal Reserve Unit FRU for assignments in riot areas, will be activated early next year. Bukit Aman Internal Security and Public Order Department Director Dato Sri Hazani Ghazali said the FRU has been given approval to obtain 10 canine dogs known as riot dogs for the purpose of controlling public order in the event of untoward incidents.
Kita tak mahu lagi PSP ini dipandang untuk menjaga standby untuk rusuhan dia. Saya multitaskingkan. Dia orang ini perlu terlibat juga dalam membuat risikan di bawah dan sebagainya. Selain tugas-tugas khas seperti jaga aman, terlibat dalam big event iaitu kontrol masa convention atau musawarah besar-besaran, PSP akan terlibat.
He said this at a press conference after officiating the closing ceremony of FRU Series 2 2023 Basic Horse Riding course at the FRU headquarters in Kuala Lumpur today. He added the FRU is also in the process of improving their skills to at least be comparable to the Special Malaysia Disaster Assistance and Rescue Team. He said the service of dogs in a task of riot control and maintaining pace is very necessary because human instinct will feel fear when seeing dogs. Earlier, Dato Sri Hazani presented training completion badges to 30 FRU personnel who successfully completed the basic horse riding course. Australian authorities arrested a man today after a flight he was on, bound for Kuala Lumpur, was forced to return to Sydney just 2 hours after its departure. Malaysia Airlines flight MH122 left Sydney at 1:40 p.m. local time, but turned around while over northwestern New South Wales and landed back in Sydney at 3:47 p.m. In a statement shared with the media, the airline said the flight had to return due to a disruptive passenger on board. The Australian Federal Police said a man 45 had been arrested without incident and the other passengers had been evacuated from the aircraft. Sydney Airport said that as a result of the incident, 32 domestic flights were cancelled with delays of up to 90 minutes for other domestic flights. There were no international flights cancelled. At least 24 killed in India after heavy rains. That and more coming up in our foreign segment. South Korea and the US have announced that they will stage the LG Freedom Guardian summer exercises on the 21st to 31st of August. According to a press release from South Korea's Joint Chiefs of Staff, this is to improve the allies' capability to respond to North Korea's evolving nuclear and missile threats. This year's drills will be held on the largest scale ever, mobilizing tens of thousands of troops from both sides and some member states of the UN command for about 30 field training programs. The announcement came as North Korean leader Kim Jong-un visited key military factories on Friday and Saturday and called for producing more missiles to help secure overwhelming military power and be ready for war. North Korea has denounced the allies' military drills as a rehearsal for nuclear war and has repeatedly warned it would take overwhelming action in response. Kim said the North Korean army should have an overwhelming military force and be fully prepared for coping with any war at any moment against the enemy, adding that they must surely annihilate them if they launch an attack. Now, at least 24 people have been killed, 9 of them in a temple collapse, and dozens more are feared missing after intense rains caused floods and landslides in India. Days of torrential downpours have washed away vehicles, demolished buildings and destroyed bridges in the northern states of Uttarakhand and Himachal Pradesh. Sanktvinder Singh Suku, Chief Minister of the worst affected state, Himachal Pradesh, said at least 16 people had lost their lives in the past 24 hours, including 9 in a Hindu temple collapse in state capital Shimla. Suku appealed to residents to stay indoors and avoid going near rivers, adding that schools in the state had been closed. In neighbouring Uttarakhand state, the rescue teams raced to remove debris after people were feared buried when heavy rainfall triggered landslides. Flooding and landslides are common and cause widespread devastation during India's treacherous monsoon season, but experts say climate change is increasing their frequency and severity. The monsoon brings South Asia around 80% of its annual rainfall and is vital both for agriculture and the livelihoods of millions. But it also brings destruction every year in the form of landslides and floods. Next up in sports, Sinner and Pegula storm to Canadian Open titles. Chelsea have agreed a British record transfer fee of €133 million for Brighton Hove Albion midfielder Moises Caicedo. The 21-year-old Ecuador international has also been a target for Premier League rivals Liverpool, who on Friday agreed a reported record €127 million fee with Brighton. According to media reports, however, it became clear over the weekend that Caicedo preferred a move to Chelsea and will join the West London club on an 8-year contract. Chelsea, who drew 1-1 with Liverpool in their Premier League opener yesterday, hopes Caicedo will be available for next weekend's trip to West Ham United. He could line up in Mauricio Pochettino's team alongside Enzo Fernandez, who cost what was then a British record €123 million when he joined from Benfica earlier this year. Caicedo was left out of Brighton's squad for their season opening 4-1 win at home to Luton Town on Saturday. Yannick Sinner came up third time lucky in a Masters 1000 final as he won the Toronto title 6-4, 6-1 over Alex de Minaur. The 7th seed became only the second Italian to lift a trophy in the Elite Series, following Fabio Fognini, champion at Monte Carlo 4 years ago. Sinner lost a pair of Masters finals in Miami in 2021 and last April, but could not contain his enthusiasm after storming past his Australian opponent in 90 minutes. Sinner tried and failed twice in the opening set to hold on to breaks, but only to drop serve in the following game to the Aussie. But the Italian found form just in time, firing an ace to lead 5-4 and finish off the set in 54 minutes on his first opportunity, following his opponent's error. The second set was one-way traffic for Sinner, who closed out victory on his second match point. Sinner, who turns 22 on Wednesday, will rise to 6th in the world as a result of his Canadian success. The Italian won his 8th career trophy and improved to a perfect 5-0 over De Minaur. Sinner is the youngest Toronto winner since Alexander Zverev, who was 20 in 2017, and the Italian now stands 18-4 at the Masters level this season.
Meanwhile, Jessica Pegula overpowered Lyudmila Samsonova to clinch the second WTA 1000 title of her career with a victory in the Montreal Open. The 29-year-old American dominated her Russian opponent from start to finish to claim a 6-1, 6-0 triumph in just 49 minutes.
Samsonova had battled through to the final after winning a 3-set semi-final earlier Sunday against Elena Rybakina in a match held over from Saturday due to torrential rain. But the challenge of winning twice in one day proved to be too much for Samsonova, as Pegula determined to claim her second elite WTA title after victory in Guadalajara last year. Pegula was quickly into her groove with an early break in the opening set to go 3-1 up. A superb cross-court forehand put her 4-1 up before Samsonova was broken again in the sixth game to leave Pegula serving for the set. Pegula slammed down an ace to move to set point, but blundered another ace to close out the set. Samsonova's troubles continued in the second set with a double fault gifting Pegula a break in the opening set. From that point, it became simply a question of how quickly Pegula would wrap up the victory. A backhand cross-court volley helped set up a break for a 3-love lead, and she then reeled off 3 more games to seal an emphatic win.
Coming up in our business segment, new hybrid coconut varieties to increase farmers' productivity. Malaysia is on track to achieve its net zero carbon emission by 2050, but it needs to keep attracting investors' funding to keep up with its momentum of the energy transition.
The Energy Industries Council, or EIC Regional Director Asia Pacific Azman Nasser today said external funding is needed to achieve this, and it is important to make renewable projects or energy transition projects attractive for the actual funds to come in. But like any project, it is all about infrastructure. He also said that investors are spending billions of dollars, and at the end of the day, all they want to see is returns of their investments. Azman was asked to comment on the recent EIC report on the energy supply chain shifts into oil and gas following a lack of consistent and profitable work in green projects. According to the report, the shift raised concerns that net zero 2050 commitments would also be delayed. UK-based EIC is one of the world's largest energy trade associations for companies that supply goods and services to the energy industries worldwide. Established in 1943, the EIC is a not-for-profit organization with a membership of over 900 companies worldwide, and its members range from major international contractors, operators and manufacturers to more specialized product and service companies.
The Malaysian Agricultural Research and Development Institute, MARDI, launched 4 new high-yielding hybrid coconut varieties today to increase the productivity and income of farmers and entrepreneurs in the country. MARDI Director General Datuk Dr. Muhammad Zabawi Abdul Ghani said the 4 new hybrid coconut varieties, namely Mylag, Malacca, Kerana and Kareni, are capable of producing more than 25,000 nuts per hectare annually.
The hybrid coconut varieties are highly recommended for coconut farmers or plantation owners due to their excellent qualities. MARDI noted that they are of low maintenance, easy to harvest, and resistant to diseases. Today's program, the Perak Mardi Meets the Clients Day and launch of the hybrid coconut varieties was opened by the State Rural Development, Plantation, Agriculture and Food Industries Committee Chairman Datuk Muhammad Zulkafli Harun. Meanwhile, Datuk Dr. Muhammad Zabawi said that Mardi had developed 8 high-yielding coconut hybrid varieties since 2005. He said Mardi is prepared to collaborate with interested agencies to enhance the nation's coconut industry and had worked with the Perak State Agricultural Corporation in the planting of coconut, onion and durian.
The Malaysia External Trade Development Corporation Madrid will organise the State Export Day 2023 nationwide to help micro, small and medium enterprises (MSMEs) promote their products and services in the international market.
Deputy Chief Executive Officer for Exporter Development, Abu Bakar Yusof said the program is a platform for MSMEs and local entrepreneurs to obtain practical information on basic guidelines for exporting and exposure to government assistance and the services of export ecosystem players. Abu Bakar said the program was previously organised in a few selected states only. The program will begin in Selangor on the 23rd and 24th of August, followed by Pahang, 6th to 7th of September, Terengganu, 24th and 25th of September, and as well as in Johor and Malacca in October. Abu Bakar said Madrid is targeting a total of 200 participants in each state, consisting of MSMEs companies under the auspices of the state government and local agencies. Regarding the journey of exporters with Madrid, Abu Bakar said the first step is to register with Madrid before they undergo the Export Readiness Assessment Tool, a system designed for companies registered as Madrid members to measure the level of readiness or potential to export their products or services.
Now, the Securities Commission Malaysia (SC) has warned the public, specifically investors, about certain entities or companies' unauthorised use of the SC's name and logo in promotional materials for their investment products.
Elaborating further through a statement released today, the regulator said 2 companies have recently been identified using the SC's name and logo in their promotional materials for cash trust investment products without permission. They have since been directed to remove all references to the SC in all related promotional materials, including videos. The SC stressed that it does not endorse or approve any cash trust investment products in the market. The regulator reminded the public and trust companies that videos on cash trusts produced by the SC are solely for educational purposes and they are not intended to be reproduced on any medium by trust companies in relation to the cash trust investment products. The public is also strongly encouraged to report any suspicious activities or misleading investment information to the SC, as this will help protect other investors from potential risks and assist them in making informed investment decisions.
Short-term interbank rates closed stable today on Bank Negara Malaysia's B&M operations to absorb surplus liquidity from the financial system. Liquidity in the conventional system rose to 40.23 billion ringgit from 38.56 billion ringgit this morning, while Islamic funds liquidity eased to 15.69 billion ringgit from 19.48 billion ringgit previously.
Earlier, the central bank conducted a conventional money market tender, 2 card tenders and 2 reverse repo tenders. It also announced the availability of reverse repo, sell and buyback agreements and collateralized community murabahah facilities for tenors of 1 to 3 months. B&M revised the conventional overnight tender from 39.6 billion ringgit to 39.9 billion ringgit. At 4 p.m., the central bank called for a 39.9 billion ringgit conventional money market tender and a 15.70 billion ringgit murabahah money market tender, both for one-day money. The Malaysia Islamic overnight rate, meanwhile, stood at 3% as of 11th of August.
MIDF research said foreign investors continued their buying streak on Bursa Malaysia for the fifth consecutive week, snapping up 465.5 million ringgit worth of equities last week. In its fund flow report for the week ended 11th of August, it noted that foreign investors were net buying every day, which had last happened during the week ended 24th of February this year. MIDF said foreign investors net bought 800,000 ringgit on Monday, 84.5 million ringgit on Tuesday, 209.7 million ringgit on Wednesday, 66.3 million ringgit on Thursday, and 104.2 million ringgit on Friday. It also said the top three sectors that saw net foreign inflows were financial services at 274.3 million ringgit, technology 66 million ringgit, and plantation 65 million ringgit. Meanwhile, sectors which saw net foreign outflows for the week were healthcare at negative 72.2 million ringgit, REITs negative 22 million ringgit, and energy negative 700,000 ringgit. Year to date, it noted that foreigners have net sold 2.46 billion ringgit. On the other hand, local institutions remain as net sellers of domestic equities for the fifth straight week after net selling 321.9 million ringgit last week. In terms of participation, the average daily trading volume among retail investors and institutional investors declined by 2.4% and 5.8% respectively, while that of foreign investors remained unchanged. Communications and Digital Minister Fahmi Fazil has downplayed the performance of the Pakatan Harapan Barisan Nasional PHBN alliance in the state election, saying it was told the challenge from Perikatan Nasional PN. In an interview with Malay Mail, Fahmi said the alliance not only won the popular vote, but also none of its candidates had lost their deposit compared to PN, which failed to achieve the 1/8 required votes in 18 seats. He said the green wave came, but the unity bolstered, referring to the support of religious conservatism name after the colour of the party, PAS, which had propelled PN to an unexpectedly strong performance in the 15th general election. Fahmi said the alliance had almost 50% of the total votes, but only gained 40% of the 245 seats. Fahmi also said that the federal government coalition, which also includes Gabungan Parti Sarawak and Gabungan Rakyat Sabah, currently holds 9 state administrations and almost 2/3 of all state assembly seats in the country. He went on to say that a factor in low voter turnout could be voter fatigue due to GE15 having been held less than a year beforehand.
Melaksanakan pembaharuan supaya Malaysia dapat tergolong antara 12 ekonomi terbaik di dunia dari segi daya saing dan ease of doing business. Maka seharusnya diwar-warkan ke seluruh pelosok dunia bahawa Malaysia terbuka dan bersedia menerima kehadiran para pelabur dan peniaga.
Alright, that concludes this evening's Malaysia Tonight. In our top story, Rukun Negara Club to be expanded to private schools. Do tune in to updates at noon coming up tomorrow at 12:30 p.m. on TV2. Till then, I'm Nur Zamri. Malaysia Madani, take up perpaduan, penuhi harapan. Thanks for watching. Have a good night.